Hey everyone! Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. My name is Devin, and I'm a huge Green Day fan. I decided to create a YouTube series called Smoothed Out Weekends. I was going to call it Smoothed Out Saturdays, but then I realized I'm probably not going to have time every single Saturday to release a video, so I might release one on Smoothed Out Sunday. It's all cute alliteration until the word weekends doesn't start with an S. Regardless, welcome to Smoothed Out Sunday. This is my first ever Smoothed Out Weekends video, and let me explain the premise to you really quick before we jump into it. I am very passionate about vocal melodies and lyrical content specifically. I know no one asked, but I am actually the lead singer and lyricist of my band, Panic Sets In. Check us out on Spotify. I am just super passionate about my love for Green Day lyrics because they basically helped me grow up. So I just really wanted to create a collection of videos almost for myself in hopes that like other people would enjoy it. So here we are. I hope you guys at least find this mildly entertaining, and I want to encourage people in the comments to post what they feel these lyrics mean to them and corrections if I mess anything up or get something wrong about the interpretation of these lyrics. I would love for you guys to comment down below and just have a discussion about it, educate me and other fellow fans. I know it probably sounds a little bit narcissistic or self-centered that I just want to talk about why these lyrics mean something to me. However, obviously my interpretation of a Green Day song isn't going to be the same interpretation that somebody else gets of a Green Day song. So the best that I can really do in this series is discuss why these lyrics mean something so heavily to me, along with doing my own proper research to see exactly what I can find on the internet that leads me to understand why Billy wrote those lyrics or what he actually meant behind the scenes, as opposed to how I hear the lyrics and interpret them myself. In the middle, we can meet with discussion down in the comments, and I would really love to have people open my eyes to new meanings that I can find from these lyrics, and I would also really love to share mine with people who might not have thought about them in a specific way that I have. So I think this will be a really cool thing for Green Day fans across the board, and let's just fucking jump into it. So I couldn't start this series without talking about my absolute favorite Green Day song of all time. I have quite a few Green Day songs at the top of my list that I would list as my favorite. However, I kind of like compartmentalize them into categories. I have like my favorite melodic Green Day song, which is Letter Bomb, by the way. And then I have my favorite lyrical Green Day song, which we're going to talk about today. I will preface by saying, by far, my favorite lyrical Green Day album, here I go with my annoying Green Day fan shit, is Kerplunk. So the first thing I want to acknowledge about this record in general is that it came out when the entire band was still teenagers. I just find this so impressive that somebody so young could write lyrics this intense that could stick with somebody throughout their entire life. I have always hyper-focused on the fact that we die. I'm sure everybody does, and I'm sure everybody thinks that they're hyper-focusing on it. Maybe how much I think about death is the appropriate human amount, but as far as like my existence and experience in life, I don't see people stressing out about the end of their lives as much as I do. Outwardly, you know? This song really helped me in acknowledging the fact that I'm not alone. My favorite Green Day song of all time is One of My Lies, and it is track number, I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh my god, it's track number 8. That's so funny. 8's my favorite number. Wow. Very superstitious. So what I find funny about this, and I love the Kerplunk lyric booklet, fucking 90s kids going to the goddamn record store and enjoying the fact that you're gonna get a lyric booklet to flip through while you listen on your portable CD player with your Sony headphones on. It's a lost art. But let me tell you, I am so intrigued by the fact that my favorite Green Day song of all time is cut off in the middle of this lyric booklet. There is a story, and this is a story for a different video. It's great. It's awesome. But it cuts off the lyrics to my personal favorite Green Day song, which I just find funny. So One of My Lies is the most instrumental song I've ever heard in my entire life as far as my development and coming into my own. I was raised in a Roman Catholic household, and my parents were nowhere near as strict as like traditional Roman Catholics are. So I got lucky in that regard because my mom and my dad allowed me to have a very, very like generous amount of individuality. I still am so grateful for that aspect of my childhood. However, I was raised Roman Catholic. I was baptized and confirmed. I went to CCD after school every week and was very much immersed. I definitely struggled with my disbelief. I definitely stopped believing in God around the time I stopped believing in Santa Claus. And I really do not mean that to sound condescending to anybody who might have different beliefs than me. Please, by all means, believe whatever you want, as long as you're not hurting anyone else, obviously. I personally just was never able to grasp on to believing in God. Everything that I was taught seemed to conflict with my own beliefs. Honestly, I really struggled to find common ground with the basics that they kind of taught you to abide by in CCD. They would say, like, if you struggle with believing in the deeper aspects of your religion, you can always fall back on the 10 Commandments. But then I would look at the 10 Commandments and I'd be like, honor thy mother and thy father. What if they beat you, you know? And now fast forward to today, I am a pretty staunch atheist. I do think that I probably would have struggled with this a lot longer in my childhood had I not come across this song on Kerplunk. So let's talk about why. So One of My Lies is incredibly thought-provoking for how young Billy was at the time when he wrote this. So it starts off with, when I was younger, I thought that the world circled around me, but in time, I realized I was alone. The song says alone. In the lyric booklet, it says wrong, but if you listen to it, he says alone, but whatever. Everybody can relate to that. When you were a child, the world revolved around you. When you're a kid, it's just been completely confirmed by psychology that kids are narcissistic. They think inwardly. Billy was a fucking teenager at this time, so it's like he was fresh out of that stage of like neuroplasticity and being self-centered and like learning all of the basics of life. So he's starting to realize that, wow, the world doesn't circle around me. Then the next line is, my immortal thoughts turned into just dreams of a dead future. It was a tragic case of my reality. I would be lying if I said I didn't think that every single person on earth has experienced this self-doubt. When I was a kid, I really used to dream big, and I feel like every kid used to, you know? So when you're a child, you really dream big. You see yourself as this grandiose figure. You're the center of the universe. You're the main character. You're going to like succeed in all of these things. And as you grow older, you start to realize there's other people around you and you're not as special as you thought you were. This lyric really helped me when I started to experience depression for the first time. Simply not as special and as unique as I thought I was. And I really started to see that at kind of a young age. I started to experience depression and anxiety, more so anxiety over that fact. I felt alone in that thought because I was an only child and I was like constantly praised, and I don't know, feeling this type of like self-doubt and deprecation just made me feel alone. So hearing this lyric made me feel a lot better, that it seemed that Billy was thinking that his immortal thoughts, which fast forward, he achieved them, but imagine at this age, he still thought that these thoughts were outlandish and one in a million, which they were. He was that one in a million that did succeed, but still at that time, he was probably thinking like, wow, my place in the world could be so solidified, but at the same time, this is a fucking pipe dream. You never know if your dreams are going to come true. And when you start to experience cynicism for the first time, it can be very discouraging. It was a tragic case of my reality. He's realizing that it's not going to get better from here. Like, he's not going to return to his childhood optimism. It's very hard to cope with when you start to realize that, hey, I'm starting to experience cynicism, and I don't think it's going to go back. I remember when I first realized Santa wasn't real, I tried really hard for like the next 2 years to convince myself I still believed in Santa. And I was telling my parents I still believed in Santa, and they were like, do we still take a bite out of the cookie? Like, I think she's trolling us. But really, I was just having a hard time coming to terms with the fact that I didn't believe in Santa anymore. So moving on. Then the lyric booklet cuts it in half with the story. Then we move on to the chorus. I find it interesting that there's actually a line cut out of the chorus in the lyric booklet. The chorus goes, do you think you're indestructible and no one can touch you? Well, I think you're disposable, and it's time you knew the truth. We're kind of teeter-tottering on like Billy feeling insecure and not really knowing what to do with his feelings, but also feeling above people with his wisdom, because he was mature for his age and he was wise for his age. You can see that conflict in this chorus, and I felt this way growing up. He's finding a problem with people who find solace in ridiculous things. People who feel safe and have a heightened sense of self when it's not realistic. No one can touch you. I think you're disposable, and it's time you knew the truth. So Billy is coming to terms with the fact that he's not as special as he thinks he is. And there are people trying to preach their lifestyle onto him who think that they're doing it right and who think that they deserve all eyes on them. And he's saying, hey, newsflash, you don't fucking mean that much to the world. Wake up, be an adult. I'm a fucking teenager, and I can tell that this is ridiculous, and you're just trying to make yourself feel better about yourself. Then the chorus goes into, 'cause it's just one of my lies. It's just one of my lies. Then in the song they say, and all I want to do is get real high. But that's not written in the lyric booklet, which I think is funny. It's just one of my lies is how I felt every single time I went to church with my parents. I felt like I was forcing myself to believe in something that I didn't believe in. I felt like I was going through the motions and doing shit that I didn't really care about. And I definitely think a lot of people can relate with that. Now we move on to my favorite Green Day lyric of all fucking time. Oh my God. This lyric right here that we're about to discuss is the Green Day lyric that I direct everybody to when they ask me why I love Green Day so much. This lyric actually helped me explain to my mother a few years ago that I'm an atheist. It was very hard to communicate that to her because she raised me Roman Catholic, like I said. I had been expressing doubt to her through the years, but I never really came out with the whole identification of, hi, I really do identify with no belief. I am an atheist. This lyric was something that when I heard it for the first time, I felt like so fucking heard. I didn't feel alone anymore. I really, really felt like I had somebody listening to the insides of my brain when I was in that church pew, not believing a goddamn thing that the priest said. Like, I heard this lyric and it was a life changer for me, for sure. So let's get into it. Why does my life have to be so small, yet death is forever? And does forever have a life to call its own? Don't give me an answer, 'cause you only know as much as I know. Unless you've been there once. Well, I hardly think so. To me, this doesn't need much unpacking. Like, we don't need to do a whole fucking genius breakdown of this set of lyrics. But what I will say is, holy shit, the ability of Billie Joe Armstrong to compact every single, like, thought that I've ever had about religion into a few lines so that I could, like, package it up in a nice bow, listen to it over and over and feel validated. Like, this fucking stanza, if you will, is everything to me when it comes to Green Day. Just real quick, line by line, why does my life have to be so small, yet death is forever? Death is fucking infinite. If you don't believe that you're going to heaven or hell, this is a very unfair thing that you have to cope with. And I'm a firm believer in the fact that Religion was created to make people feel more comfortable with the idea of death. When you don't believe in an afterlife, it's uncomfortable. It makes you question, like, how is this fair? Like, it's really not. My life feels so significant right now, but it could be taken from me. I could have a fucking brain aneurysm right now and drop dead. The rest is forever. Forever. My life is a blip on the fucking radar compared to forever. Why does my life have to be so small and death is forever? Like, that's already unfair. And does forever have a life to call its own? As a child who's being, like, raised to believe in an afterlife, but it doesn't seem logical to you. Like, this is everything I dealt with as a kid. Like, it doesn't feel logical to believe in an afterlife. Does forever have a life to call its own? As they tell me in CCD and as they tell me at church on Sunday. Is there really an afterlife that can call its own? Like, does my life right now really reflect what's going to happen to me after I die? And is that forever going to be my new life after this, as they say? Does forever have a life to call its own? I don't fucking think it does. I truly don't think that there is anything after this, which is unfair, and it does suck, and it is scary, because all we know is consciousness, and there's no proof that there's something after this. And then Billy goes on to challenge what he's been told from a religious standpoint, from like religious figures in his life or authority figures in his life. He goes on to challenge them by saying, don't give me an answer, because you only know as much as I know. Literally, and that's so fucking true. Nobody's been there, which is the next line, which is crazy. He fits it all in. Don't give me an answer, because you only know as much as I know, unless you've been there once. Have you? I hardly think so. Just so powerful to me. Anyway, I'm done simping over those fucking 4 lines. Let's move on. The chorus repeats, and then it goes into the bridge where Billy says, I used to pray at night before I laid myself down. As did I. I used to pray every single night. My mom told me that I was supposed to. The authority figures in my life told me I was supposed to. I was told to believe in a specific set of morals and rituals and things, and it really did kind of create a false trust in something that I can't really trust in, because I have no proof that it's there for me. The lyric goes, I used to pray at night before I laid myself down. My mother said it was right. Her mother said it too. Why? Which to me analyzes the like hive mind mindset of religion. People will join with other like-minded individuals and just kind of blindly follow because it feels good to be led, and it feels good to have somebody kind of take the reins and explain things to you in a way that resonates with you. However, I was never that kind of person. Like, I need evidence, and it seems like Billy was that way too as a teenager. I just find this song super impressive that he was able to analyze that a few years prior to this, he used to pray at night before he went to bed because his mom told him that that was what he was supposed to do, and that other people were also told to do the same thing. And then he questions why. What is it that created this like group mindset to do this ridiculous thing that there's no proof for? So anyway, this song means the world to me. It is by far my favorite song in the entire world. It helped me get through a lot of isolated feelings. It helped me come clean to my mother about my identity with religion. It really, really held my hand when nobody else was. Yeah, so that is my analysis of the song One of My Lies by Green Day. Honestly, all I want to do when I think about religion is get real high. So like, I get it, my dudes. I will honestly probably revisit this song as my series gets more established and as my setup gets better. I love this song so much, and if I could do a better commentary to better represent it, I will definitely revisit it in the future. But I hope you guys liked this first installment of Smoothed Out Weekends, specifically Smoothed Out Sunday this week. I hope you intend on returning next week because I'm going to be doing this every single week. And if you want to suggest a song down below, chances are I will probably cover it because I am a people pleaser and I want to make people happy. I am super excited to be doing this, and let's hang out next week.